What's up, geeks and gamers? My name is Drementfh, and welcome to Thorium Gaming. So we're back with Nightly Valor, our attempts to bring the light of the Lady of the Lake to the entirety of the old world. And I might sound a little bit tired today, but I've been on the road for most of the early part of this week. That's why it's coming a little bit late. If I would have tried to record yesterday, all you would have got was a static background with me snoring. Love my job, but it's not exactly physically easy on you. So there's a couple of things that we have to mention before we jump into things this week. First off, there's been a small change with an update that came out that has kind of screwed up some of our characters a little bit. You'll notice this is Grimaldus, and there's no more links between the mounts, and a lot of the veteran points have been reduced to 2, and I've been finding that on older saves, if you had points in them, they kind of got lost. This is an update they did to balance out certain things. All of the Lord level characters have had their character line reduced to 2. There have been a bunch of changes to certain legendary Lord abilities and skills. So we're just going to have to kind of deal with it as we go along. But the heroes have not been touched at all. They're still as they were, but the links for their mounts have also been taken away. So we don't have to waste points in Warhorse to get a unicorn, which is kind of cool in a sense. We'll just give Lady Janice another point in Amber Spear to get her up there. So what we've been doing over the last little bit, since this is both coming out late and we've been missing a little bit, we have our generals moving out to do a bunch of really cool stuff. Let's go to our heroes. King Lewin and this group of heroes here, Shiffroy, Muffin, and Yelena, are all kind of holding the fort against the Wood Elves. Grimaldus and Phoeniux are coming down to deal with Durthu, and we're going to do that on this turn, I believe. We'll use Chaplain as a reinforcement and let Phoeniux go in and hit Durthu hard. If we eliminate him, well, that's a good strike in our favor. So we've got all of those guys covered. Now Lord Eddie, he's moving up through the, well, Orcish lands to try and get either Varenka Hills or Barag Dwazbag. Yeah, that's not easy to say. And he's got Saruman along with him. Adadon is still holding the fort up in Corone. And Phoenix is way down in the southeast and has uncovered Lamia, one of the homes of the original vampire clans. So we're just going to move him, and then we're going to go to the lords that have not moved yet. So we can get Grimaldus close enough to Durthu. I think our lords are going to have to chase him a little bit, which is fine. I didn't realize that Phoenix was still in March stance, but that's okay. We can deal with that. They can chase Durthu down and deal with him. If he stays in March stance, we should be able to keep up. Now, for our research, we've been focusing on trying to get towards all of this. But if we go with improved smelters, that's going to increase our income a little bit. And we are fairly strapped for cash right now. We're going to repair Quinnell. I don't think we're going to be able to repair the weaving house at the same time. But having all of Bretonnia under our belt is a definite bonus. Let's move Lord Eddie manually. Get him away from some of the larger orc forces that are chasing him, and the Empire has been flooding into the Badlands and the Border Princes fairly consistently. We haven't yet seen some of the more egregious enemy forces show up, but it's only a matter of time, and Bretonnia is still sitting pretty solidly. If we look at our objectives for our ultimate campaign victory, well, there is the errantry war that we have to do. 7,500 crowns, attain 1,200 chivalry. That's cool, but if we get 2,000 chivalry and complete the errantry war battle, we'll be able to win the campaign overall. And we've really got to start pushing for expansion, so we may have to delve into fighting these Wood Elves. And with the amount of archers they have, it could be bad, but let's let the other nations go and see what they do. And Adadon just got devoted because, of course, he's in our capital that has many shrines to the Lady, which, you know, it's always good for a knight to sit in prayer to the Lady of the Lake. I'm interested to see what the Empire is actually going to do. If they take Varenka, I would really, really like them not to. That would be a great place for us to kind of take over. Would give us direct line to Karaza Karak, give us some support within the general area. They're besieging Dawazbag, so if they take it and don't just raise it, and they might just take Varenka here. I don't think they can in March stance, though. It would be really, really nice for us to reclaim that and work towards it. Or at the very least, for us to be able to get one place over here. We could go to Iron Rock if we have to, but there they go. They just took Varenka. So we either have the option of going for Barag Dawazbag or going for Iron Rock. I just want us to have a spot within those mountains to kind of build an outpost. And from Lord Eddie's efforts, we can possibly get another member of the 232 in here and start dealing some massive damage to the orcs and everything, which, based on our research, would allow us to get a lot of chivalry pretty quickly. It's not exactly a perfect plan, but it will work. And the more battles we win against the foes that we've researched our chivalric codes against, the better off we're going to be. And there is going to come a point here not too long from now where the Empire is going to have to pull its forces back north, and we don't want to leave them completely exposed on the south. Them and Kislev need to be as strong as possible because they're going to get hit pretty hard. I know it's alluding to it, but in my personal campaigns after the patches and everything, the armies that have been coming from this particular event, and I'm going to remain vague about it, have been devastatingly strong. Not just in the lords that they bring, but the amount of forces they bring. Their particular ground unit, their main frontline soldier, can take on our knights without much issue. Let's just leave it at that. So we'll have to deal with them. And we'll see what Durthu does on this turn. It'd be nice for either Grimaldus or Phoenix to gain the trait that they'd get for defeating an enemy legendary lord. And it looks like he's going to keep running. I don't know if we're going to have to march to keep up with him. But I don't want him running around on his own. And we can't really head him off at the pass right now. So we might have to send Phoenix and Chaplain on a long little roundabout to deal with them. All the Skaven clans and the Tomb Kings are going. Kind of curious as to what Khemri's going to do in the not-too-distant future. I mean, they've been fighting back and forth with the Knights of Origio for Xandri and some other places. They haven't really messed with us too much. We've been kind of remaining coolly passive with them, which is always an awesome thing. And for Kalidia to take Lamia would be pretty awesome too. That would definitely fit into her lore aspect, since she is the sister of Neferata, the first vampire queen. Like, the very first one. I think she was the first vampire in general. So, yeah, there's a long sordid history there, and that's why she kind of hates vampires. And it would be really, really nice to see some sort of conclusion on that front. Not going to complain. Lamia is supposedly a beautiful city within this realm, even if it is vampirically controlled. Join war against the followers of Nagash. Yeah, we can't do that. I don't want to open up another front down there. That's kind of just a little income trap for us. I don't want to open it up and start having battles and things down there, especially since Lord Eddie is no longer there, and we have got to push. So, there's that. Be really, really nice to see Silver Peak, which is the vampiric place where the queen is in this. I think it's in the World's Edge Mountains. I think that's what they're called. High Ridge. Somewhere up in here. But I can't remember offhand. I'm pretty sure Eddie is way too far away from Barag Dawazbag to actually attack this turn. So we're just going to have to hope that the Empire doesn't do anything silly and take the city from us. Alright, Chaplain. Even moving full out, you won't be able to catch him. So let's see if we can get you and Phoenix into a place that kind of herds him back towards the woods. Keep you guys together so that nothing major can happen. And kind of limit the direction he can go. He'll have to circle around our forces to keep moving, which could cost him some movement range. And we'll repair the weaving hut so that we can get some income coming in off that. There's not really much more we can do on that front. Right now, Lord Eddie is going to be the one that's going to have to do most of the work for us in this particular case. But we can still keep exploring with Phoenix and see where he ends up. There's the Misty Mountain.
I shall fight to the death.
It's kind of curious that the Empire has been pushing so hard to the south. It'd be nice to see a big patch of dark blue show up here. Iron Rock is not exactly a bastion of everything, but they do have a fairly large number of biggins. And that's like the orcs' hyper infantry. They're pretty tough. I'd rather take Doazbag that has a similar army setup, but it's been damaged. So we'll just let the other nations go and hope that the Empire doesn't sweep the rug out from underneath us here. I'd much prefer to see them hit the other orcish areas, go after their legendary lords, so we can just have a minor area near the dwarves to set up a trade route with Karaza Karak, because that will be a lot of funds coming in for us. Their diamond mines alone make them a lot of money, and if we're able to set up trade, that will allow us to get passage through the mountains, and we'll be able to circumvent certain enemy forces. So far it looks like they're pushing to the southwest, but you can't entirely base all of your thoughts off of that. So we might just have to wait and see. Still in march stance, so they might be going after the orcish settlements on the shores. I know they have Stone Mine Tower. Man, they have a lot of troops. The fact that they're able to keep it all is somewhat worrying. And I thought that Balthazar Gelt was going to sweep the rug out from underneath us, but he just went to raid the orcish area. So we might have the chance to take Barag Doazbag, and that will set us up pretty nicely. It's not Vrinka Hills, but it's close enough. It's a place where we can kind of establish a fighting line, I guess. Still have to say, it's weird to see Kislev pushing this far to the southwest. It's not usually something that you anticipate from Kislev. They have a lot of fighting up in the north, even before the big event. All the Norscan tribes and the Troll Kingdom that's up there causes a lot of problems. And they're not easy to deal with right off the bat. I'd love it if in a future update they either gave us Kislev as a faction to play. Their Ice Queen, their Zarina, is a very powerful spellcaster in the fluff of Warhammer Fantasy. Uses ice magic, and her representation in most of the books, especially the Gotrek and Felix series, she is depicted as a very, very powerful individual. So it would give them a legendary lord, and you could put their winged lancers in, their bear cavalry. It'd be nice to see. I mean, they'd basically be a Cossack version of the Empire. Not necessarily a complete spin-off, but they would be like the difference between the Empire provinces you can play, like the Bretonnian provinces you can play. They'd be slightly different, but they'd have their own flair and flavor. And while they're not technically the Empire, they'd be a different style on the whole armed infantry. Their Cossacks, their wing lancers, their rangers, All of them are very, very unique to Kislev. So if we could see them come in, it would be pretty decent. And there's enough lore and fluff there to actually go in, give them their Pullman and all of their infantry as well as their famed cavalry, and give us a unique faction. Not to mention that to the east of where the mountains currently end on this map right now are the Mountains of Morn, and there's the Ogre Kingdoms in there. And the Ogre Kingdoms themselves are an entire army that has not been represented in Total War to date. At least not in the official versions. The conversion mod for Medieval 2 did have the Ogre Kingdoms, and it was cool. They have their own legendary lords, their own everything, and they can definitely host their own army. And then it would give us access to the eastern portion of the map. And you'd have their unique gut magic coming in, you'd have their butchers, the Yeti, the Ogre Bulls, of course, and then the Noblars, which are a smaller version of a goblin. Yes, goblins can get smaller than just goblins.
Honor before glory.
So, there is that. Just little things that would be nice to see. And of course there is one faction that exists up in that mountain range to the east of where the map ends. I don't think we will see it because of how it is, and that's the Chaos Dwarves. They disappeared from the tabletop after a fairly consistent amount of time, but I don't know if they could bring them back in and give them enough fluff to make it worthwhile. But Lord Eddie can take that city, and it looks like he got a banner out of it, and we're definitely going to occupy the city. And he got a Ranger's Standard. So Lord Eddie, we're going to get you the Knight's Vow. And we're going to get you your Barded Warhorse. Actually, we should probably hold off and get you either a Pegasus or a Hippogriff. But you can get... Ooh, these are different now. Lion-Hearted, basic training. These got moved from the red line up there. So I think we're going to go with Virtue of Empathy and Knight's Vow for right now. That'll make you significantly stronger overall. And Ahriman, we can finally get you some full plate armor, make you a little bit tougher. And Barag Dawazbag, well, if we kill off this weaving house, we can get either a stables or something else here that would allow us to reinforce our troops a little bit more easily. And with the extra cash we have available, let's see if we can assassinate Doden, which apparently failed. Looking at these armies is just... it's so worrying. We cannot fight all three of them at once with the Kingsglade garrison. It can't happen. It's way too much to take on, especially since they're up to level 4 and 5 buildings for most of their troop types. So we're just going to have to hope, and let's see what the other nations do. There's not really much we can do right now. We're chasing down the giant treant, that is Durthu, and trying to kind of keep the Wood Elves penned in. I'd rather be at peace with them. They are a faction of order. So maybe if we start working on a peace treaty with them, it could work out for us. I don't know how well they'll take it, though. Which means we probably shouldn't have tried to assassinate Dodan, but we'll see if we can get a peace treaty going. And meanwhile, Lord Eddie is going to start striking out at the orcs and goblins to try and turn some of that green into dark blue. Give us a nice little foothold in the mountainous areas. And a lot of income. There's a lot of mines and resources down there. And especially since we are now getting the research to make it so that our gold mines and our iron mines give us a lot more income per turn. Places like Iron Rock and Black Skull, I think it's called. Well, the areas in there all have mines, and if we can take them over, that's a lot of income. So, taking them over is a good idea. Like, Iron Rock has an iron mine in it. So we might possibly have to just siege it. I'd love to get Lord Eddie a couple of trebuchets if we can. Means popping him out of the city momentarily to put him into encamp stance, and we can't really afford it right this minute. But if we can get him a couple of trebuchets, it'll make fighting the orcs a lot easier. He might even have some. I'm not even sure. I've had so many playthroughs of this Total War going through that it's a little ridiculous sometimes. I've been playing the High Elves, the Druchii, playing around with the Vampire Coast factions, all of which are amazing, I have to say. And a lot of the legendary lords they added in, especially with the newest update, even though it kind of screwed up a lot of our lords overall, especially in my other playthroughs, where they have very, very, very specific paths that I wanted them to take, they've really added more flavor and richness to them, and a lot more options and adaptability. And I think Durthu might actually be in range of us to catch him. Oh, and Lothern confederated with the Order of Lore Masters. So Tyrion and Teclis are now in the same faction. That's two legendary lords, and I think Athel Loren confederated with them too, so that would make the Everqueen part of it, and Negareth might have as well, giving them Aelith and Ar. So the High Elves are rocking it right now. And the followers of Nagash, we are not signing a non-aggression pact with. We're staying coolly neutral with all of the Tomb Kings. The longer we can keep our neutrality up with them, the better off we're going to be. Because we may have to use the Tomb Kings as either an errantry war area or just a place to level up our lords and heroes and gain some experience for our units when darkness descends from the north. Alright, so Dodan assaulted our units. We knew about the Confederation. There's our improved smelters. Iron mines and gold mines give us a lot more income now. We could go with the unification of Bretonnia. It's only 3 turns, gives us 20 chivalry, and Dwarven and Empire provinces relations. We've already got the Green Tide, but if we go with the Grey Mountain Watch, we could go with Steel Furnaces to get our knights more armor, or Blinker Hoods for leadership and a better charge bonus, and eventually we want to get all of these, because it's Bretonnia. We want our knights to be better. But we need to start gaining chivalry too, so we're going to get Grey Mountain Watch just to start here. Durthu, you've got to stop running out of range of our troops. I don't want to be chasing you around forever, and I don't want you sacking any of our cities. We can't really afford to have you do that right now.
Do you take me for a churl?
There's nothing we can do there. Those elves are still sticking in the woods. Lady Ryan has leveled up. And we got everything down here, so let's finish off Urnanun's Thunderbolt. I swear I can talk sometimes, honest. And we can get a unicorn for Lady Di. She's already got everything up there that we need. So that works out.
My deeds are legend.
And a Barded Warhorse for one of our paladins, who eventually we're going to have to rename. But we'll get him to start going this way. Now let's see if we can get a peace treaty with them. We're technically stronger overall, but our forces are a lot more spread out than the Wood Elves are. Let's go check out Phoenix. See where he's at. There's Spite Peak. Karakeet Peaks. Black Crag, that's what it is. And it's a dwarven settlement right now, so we don't really have to worry about that. And we cannot afford to build stables down there, which is a shame. We could build a training field. I don't know how well that's going to work out for us. We're going to hold off and wait for the stables. Is it only our military that's causing us to... Yes, 2 more turns for our provincial instability to go down. Now, Iron Rock is in a pretty bad place, all considered. The dwarves own the other 2 Carracks in there. But it's got an iron mine. So, yeah. We have a settlement that can be upgraded. Quinnell can be upgraded. It's going to put off building stables down there, but we should probably do it. Alright, so Durthu keeping his little game on the go, we have to think of other ways to deal with him.
Defender of the weak.
I'm not really sure how we would be able to increase our standing with the Wood Elves. Might just have to fight it out with them. Because they really, really hate us. But that's going to have to be what it is, so we'll see. And once we nail Durthu, we'll be able to go in and hit one of their cities. Aidon, you're kind of sitting without too many troops, but we'll just have to see what the other nations want to do and kind of roll with it. The Empire is definitely on a steamroll right now. I'm not sure how close they are to actually winning the campaign, because they're throwing out some major heat, and they have a lot of diplomatic allies, ourselves included. And if we have to go to war with them to prevent them from winning the campaign, that would be awful. They are very strong. And those Demigryph Knights are not something we really want to fight. So we'll just have to kind of hope. Where is Mr. Gausser going? He's in Bretonnia right now. I'm not too happy about that. Mr. Udericker? He's going after Iron Rock. We're military allies with the Empire. If he's in reinforcement range, we might be able to take Iron Rock right now by letting the Empire do some of the work for us. I'm not against that. So we might have a battle with Lord Eddie in control with some Empire allies coming in. That'd be kind of cool. We'll have to see how it goes, though. I'm hoping he's in reinforcement range. That would... It would just be awesome. It would definitely give us the foothold we need up in those mountains. Then we'd be able to devastate a few of the more hardy orc settlements to the south in the mountains all around. It kind of splits our forces into Border Prince territories and Bretonnian territories as far as overall control goes, but hey, it might be worth it. So why not, right? We've already got a small split with the Errantry Wars getting on our side. And with the Empire beating down the orcs, we're stronger than them now. So yeah, let's hope that the Orcish capital is within range of us, because if we can do that, I'm definitely happy about it. Seeing all these Orcish heroes running around is a little worrying, but they're mostly going after the Empire and the Dwarves, so it's not exactly a high threat. It's still worrying, though. And Durthu, where are you going? Might be going back to try and raid Quinnell, or is he trying to get to Paravon? The Empire and Kislev are starting to have some trouble with their alliance. Oh no, that was with us. Why did Kislev trade? Wow. Okay. Kislev stopped their trade agreement with us. It hurts our finances a little bit, but okay. The Tube Kings are doing their thing, but not really sure what they're going to do with it, all things considered. And our Ziflin allies, that have been our friends since the very beginning, they're finally getting dwarves out into the battlefields. back towards their ancestral homes. That's really awesome. Oh, hey, there's a dwarvish army that's right near there too. I don't know if we're military allies with them yet, though. That would be kind of cool. We'd see 4 armies on the same map. I'm kind of hoping that's the case now. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is check and see if we are military allies with the dwarves. I don't think we are.
Greetings. What do you Agreed.
If we get military access, that's a step in the right direction. Now, please be in range of Iron Rock. And it looks like he's within range to assist us. But he's not. So, Eddie, you're just going to try and wait him out a little bit. Lay siege to it. If we actually go into the Empire,
Friends of the Empire.
set a war coordination target for Iron Rock, maybe we'll get some help. And Chaplain, you and Phoeniux have been chasing this guy forever. What we're going to do, send the king 1 turn's march away. We're going to march you guys back around to Paravon. Durthu will probably head back this way, and then we can kind of try and head him off and pincer him. We can pull the king back if any of these armies decide to move. I try and assassinate the spell singer. And you failed. I think we're just going to fight it out with the Wood Elves and take over Athel Loren.
Ready to serve. Onwards for Bretonnian.
And then Phoenix, you can come up and join Lord Eddie or start striking at something like Carrick 8 Peaks. Now that is a very impressive garrison. So let's see what we can do with all that. The dwarves and the Empire are our friends. Haxoatl's in kind of a good place with us, so non-aggression pact. Alright, cool. And a trade agreement. That helps out a fair bit too. Last Defenders don't really like us too much right now, but we might be able to strike up a pact with them. And get military access. Not military access, but at least we aren't going to be fighting them. That should help our income a little bit.
Blessings of the lady be upon you.
Corona actually has something it can upgrade. We can't nearly afford either of the big tournament grounds or anything yet. Can't even afford to get up to Grail Knights and Pegasus Knights, which would be cool. So much that we have to upgrade, and so little funds to do it. There is a Skull Reef down there, but that means fighting a Vampire Coast army that's fairly tough. And I don't think this army can do it offhand, so maybe we get Adadon some extra forces? Might be able to help out, but the way I've been dealing with the Vampire Coast is honestly just raining arrows down on them, and we don't have a lot in the way of archery. So we'll just pass it off to the other nations and see what they do. We may not get a decent fight this time. We'll see what Franz wants to do. He's really hammering on the orcs. Where are you sending your heroes? I really want to see what the Empire army in Bretonnia is actually going to do. They kind of set foot on our soil. There are friends, there are allies, there are military cohorts. But I don't like them having a full active army inside our borders. It looks like he was just coming in to say hello? Maybe have some Breton wine and other things for his troops? I can be partially okay with that. And the Empire is going to stick around to help us. We might actually be able to push and take Iron Rock with the Empire's help, as we planned, and let the Empire do a lot of the work. Yeah, I know, it's kinda cheating a little bit, but the Empire has a lot of territory. They're the strongest power in the world right now. And we don't really want to go to war with Negorond. We don't want to push to other places. And we really can't deal with too much else at the moment. So having some stern allies helping us out is a good thing. And besides, we've helped them out in the past. We dealt with some Norscan threats to them. We've been pushing to help liberate their southwestern edge and their entire west coast, so they can deal with the vampires that started off in pretty much the entirety east of the Empire. And we took care of the Barrow Legion, so they didn't, well, not the Barrow Legion, but what would have been the Barrow Legion. I keep forgetting this was started well before the Pirates Coast DLC, and the Barrow Legion under Heinrich Himmler wasn't a thing yet. I've been playing way too much of this game lately. Granted, it's a good thing to do when you're extremely tired and off your base. Tired, sore, and everything, which my job tends to do to me. Granted, I love it to death, and if it was more steady, it would be completely awesome. But my boss is great, my coworkers are awesome, even if they're all dorks. I'm kind of looking at a few of you guys. Some of you are even in this video. Yeah, anyway. And with all the expansions and everything that have been coming out, it's been a good ride with Total War Warhammer 2. I'd love to see perhaps another set of expansions to allow us to get the Chaos Dwarves and the Ogre Kingdoms, because I rattled on at length about them earlier, but Chaos Dwarfs is just another bad, evil faction that plays with heavy infantry and centaurs of all things. The Ogres would be definitely a different stance. They would be something we'd want to see, because their army style, just like when the Tomb Kings were introduced, they were a different style of undead. We had the vampires, and that was pretty much it. And the Tomb Kings came in and added a very, very light, mobile, fast style. The Ogre Kingdoms, they rely on a lot of heavy units, and that's pretty much it. So we're probably going to go a little bit over time today, because I want to do this battle. I really, really do. And we do have trebuchets, so we don't even need that, but we do have a battering ram, and we're mostly infantry, so that's not a big issue either way. We'll give our Strider banner here. And then we'll assault, and we'll let the Empire do a lot of the work, because we are assaulting a citadel. There's two gates, the main gate and the lesser gate. Might smash the main gate down for the Empire, because they do have Demigryph Knights. So we might do that, and we could pop up on the walls to assault things with our infantry. But for the most part, let's have our foot squires drop that battering ram. We'll find it again. Should be... there it is. We'll have our swordsmen grab it. Have our foot squires in our group, our polemen. Set up our groups as we normally would. Now the Empire is going to be coming in from here. So what I want to do is be able to set it up so that our infantry and everything can just sit back and blast away. So we'll back our trebuchets up a fair bit. We want them to be able to hit the gates but not be too exposed. Our knights we will throw into the lance formation. From over here, we're all going to be hitting the lesser gate. So that's not a major issue. And what I kind of want to do is leave a dedicated path for the Empire to go down, and we're going to be probably speeding up the first little bit of this battle to let the Empire get into position. We're going to keep our troops back. We might suffer some artillery fire from this, but I'm okay with that. What we'll do Let our trebuchets deal with that fort tower. We are suffering a little bit of arrow fire. And where are our Empire allies? There they are. And they're going to start and get involved in this fight, and if they can take a bit of the heat off so our troops can do their thing, that would be awesome. Having those foot squires getting hurt kind of sucks. We are just kind of sitting here getting trashed. Once that tower is down, since the other one is not held by the orcs right now, we'll send the battering ram in, which we might want to start right now and advance up. So while we've got it at this speed, we'll pause, start the advancement of our forces. Let's get our knights in a place where they can charge through that gate. We do have error boys on top of the gate. So let's have our trebuchet deal with it. And Eddie and Ahriman can get up front. The reason I'm going at a faster pace is because the Empire is bringing a lot of troops. And with any luck, they'll storm the walls first and clear them for us. And we'll be able to deal with it. And the gatehouse should be taking some damage from our trebuchets as well as the ram when it gets there. There's rocks flying in. It's always a good thing. And there's the mortar from the Empire firing off. And it looks like the Empire has reached the wall, so let's just go back to normal speed and see how our troops are doing. Our archers are starting to lay into them. They have halberdiers headed up the walls. So let's send both of our polemen up there. And our foot squires up on that side. Well, that's not a good thing. Our squires are getting all separated. Looks like the Empire is actually really into helping us out. They've been surging forward and slaughtering a bunch of the greenskins, though they've been doing that all along. That gatehouse is really getting trashed. Let's actually swap our trebuchets over to targeting the gate directly, since the mortar is doing a fair bit of damage to it and our ram's almost there. Then we can use our foot squires as a backfill to deal with them. We'll let our halberdiers, or our polemen, go up on the walls. Let our archers just keep piping off shots. Are they are fire arrows. The Empire's artillery is impressive. I have to admit that. I'm not a big fan of ranged weaponry, and in the lore, I love Bretonnia above all other factions, with a small soft spot given over to the Azure. But I have to admit, the Empire's mixture of Gothic style and gunpowder weapons is pretty cool. Doesn't compare to knights, though. And the gate has been taken. So let's charge through. See what we can do in here. Send our knights in, send our squires in, send the swordsmen in. Our archers are still having a grand old time just peppering off orcs. Now, while I'm thinking about it, where are the Hippogriff Knights? That's Reiksguard. There's their Demigriff Knights. Look at how cool these things are. They're wingless griffins with a guy with a lance on the back. They're Empire cavalry, so they're not nearly as cool as our cavalry, but come on, those things are freaking cool. Those things are awesome. And I love the fact that there's a lot of variation in the units. CA did a really good job bringing the tabletop to life in a lot of ways. So let's send our cavalry this way. Might as well just rush them if they're going to be sitting back here with their boar boys. We've got halberdiers involved in combat. And we've already stormed over the walls. Those big uns, like, look how big the big uns are compared to normal humans. This is why orcs are so brutal. Big uns are not special. They're not black orcs. They're just big orcs. It looks like our archers are starting to run out of ammo, which is a little sad. Mixing in Empire and Bretonnian soldiers is kind of neat. There's their great swords. They should be using Zweihänders, which are weaving or wavy swords, but they're just using the typical English-style long or great sword, just straight. Just a little sad. Be nice to see some Zweihänders in there. Well, their general doesn't look too bad either, even though he's an old guy on a completely not Bretonnian war steed. There's the trolls and the boar boys. It looks like our knights came in and hit them in the rear, which definitely helped. That's that battle over and done with, and we didn't actually take too much extra time. We lost 201 soldiers, all of them really peasants, most of them halberdiers, poleaxes, so hurt a little bit, but with the Empire helping us out with an extra 1,000 troops over what we already deployed, they deployed equal and then 1,000 more. That's kind of why the Empire is rolling things right now. We're going to occupy the city. And Eddie has gained the blessing of the lady for that. So let's go in and let's get you Blade Master. We'll be getting you a mount as soon as we can, but right now we want you to be effective as you are. And having Iron Rock, we can get rid of the guardhouse and put an iron mine in there for a lot more money. And King Lewin. Okay, Durthu went back into the woods. So we can bring Lewin down here, and if he comes back through, we can deal with it. Big thing is that we can bring Grimaldus and Phoeniux to the very edge of Athel Loren. We might actually be able to take the Waterfall Palace. Its garrison's pretty significant, but we might actually be able to take it with the forces we have here. We've got some pretty tough units. I'd love to have the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, because they're awesome. Beastslayers of Bastogne would be great too. They're polearm infantry and they're awesome. And the Companions of Quesnel would be great too. But that's probably going to do it for this week, guys. If you liked the video, please consider hitting that like button. If you'd like to join up with the 232, be part of this or other Let's Plays, or just to be part of our community, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn your notifications on so you don't miss when a new video goes out. And remember, guys, life is a game, so play to win. And until next time, take care.